Okay. So let's start.
I feel better because we're not depending on this mic only. We got the camera mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start off by like you describing like the whole production process of the album.
Bet. So in producing pretty much all of my songs, bro, I had this thing where like I'll have an idea and I'll just spend like months just ruminating on it before I actually ever record anything, when it is for songs that I'm like thinking to put as like part of a project.
Okay.
So I had the idea for like 2 songs. I had like no 3. Yeah, it was See Through You, Never Felt This Way Before, and that shit came out like last year, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And one more, it was Patience.
Okay.
That I just drafted up and I didn't start actually producing. I just kept it vague. Then when I finally just started making the album, the production process, it took me like literally I made the whole album, like recording, producing and everything, in like 4 days.
Okay.
But it was 4 days because I spent like all of this time thinking about the ideas.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, that's basically it.
But would you say like when you were producing, because you produce all of your songs, and when you were producing and making the album, did you like, what went through your head? Like, what was the vibe, the initial vibe that you like wanted to like, you know, when people hear music, they're like, oh, this reminds me of this and that, you know what I'm saying? So like, what was going through your head when you were making?
Okay, so first of all, the guitar.
Okay.
My goal with my guitar, bro, there's this artist I really like, McGee.
Okay.
When I made my guitar preset, I'm not gonna lie, I was straight up just trying to kind of steal how his guitar sounds, because I feel like his guitar sounds really unique, and the vibe I was going for is something very spacey. Cause okay, so Frank Ocean, Siegfried.
Okay.
I wanted the songs on that album to have a similar vibe to that, but like a bit more video gamey.
Okay.
It's hard to say. A bit more spacey.
I understand.
Because I like shit like a lot of synths, a lot of
I understand
pads.
Because when I heard what was the song? I think it was Break. On the end of the song, there was like this like, I don't know what's it called.
You mean the sign with I actually have something interesting to say about that. So Jane Remover, literally top 10 artist of all time, but whatever. Jane Remover, she made this album Frailty, and that little hint, that little sound, it's a motif that plays throughout the album, so I just took it from her.
That's fire. Yeah, that's fire though. But like, to come up with the sound, did you like have any like, let's say sort of like inspiration or something
beyond the story of like Pygmalion, the original Greek story, and the cover art for the Bernard Shaw play? I didn't really have like something I was basing my songs on, because part of my intention with this album, was to like evolve what I feel like I've been crafting as like my song. Because I have this song called Solace.
Okay.
A song I really like.
Love that song as well.
And that song, when I first made that song, it's when it first started clocking to me, because I made that song and I finished it, I was like, I'm getting close.
Okay.
Like I'm getting close to figuring out how I want to sound. This can be my formula. So I didn't base my sound off of anything other than just like, okay, take what I did in Solace, but I wanted less strummy and electric guitar this time. I wanted the electric guitar more in there because I felt like it contributed better to that whole spacey vibe or sound. So it was mainly just like me knowing, okay, I like chords that sound like this, that are kind of like sweet in air quotes sounding. And yeah,
but like when you were making it, you said that like you didn't take much time, you know, developing the album, but like throughout that short time, were there like any interruptions, or like the ideas just flow naturally?
Yes. There was. I actually struggled quite a while knowing if I should. There was another 2 songs that I wanted to add to the album. I've already started working on them, and I think I'm gonna drop them at some point. But I was struggling to both finish the song. One of them is called World. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
And I was struggling to finish the song And that shit made me wonder, like, yo, is this idea just not it? Because I feel like a big part of the struggle when you make music is like translating your ideas accurately, like to convert the sound you have in your head on the computer. And I felt like I gotten pretty good at doing that. So when I was making World and it wasn't coming out how I imagined it was, even though I felt like I was doing everything mechanically correct, I spent like a while thinking like, bro, is this idea just not worth it? Should I delay the album until I finish this one? But I feel like I'm not gonna finish it for like a while now, but I already have literally everything done, so like, what's the word? And then there was another song, it still doesn't have a title, but I was thinking about whether or not I wanted like the album to have one more song.
Okay.
So that took a bit of time.
So do you ever see yourself dropping like a deluxe or some shit like that?
Maybe. I might drop a deluxe. I might take these 2 songs and just put them as part of an EP.
Okay, makes sense.
Because I don't know, like a deluxe, I never really, this might be weird, but I never really understood deluxe.
Because it doesn't make sense, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like an album with like extra.
My thought is always just
yeah.
like, why don't you just drop it as a new song, unless they contribute to an album that has like a narrative in some way. That one I understand. Okay. But I might, who knows, maybe.
Because I was thinking as well, like, I was talking to Ruben a few days, like a few months ago. We were talking about like how Pharrell, you know what I'm saying? He sees like colors, he sees like, you know, different people when they see shit, he sees like colors when he makes music, so you know what I'm saying? So you as an artist, you like see something like that, you know, like colors, you know what I'm saying? Or some shit like that?
Kinda.
Or like, do you see anything when you work, like the ideas that flow through you, like what does it look like?
To me, it's like I see, well, I don't see. What I always imagine when I think about like what I visualize when I'm making my music, it's kind of just space, outer space, like, and also this might be like very specific, like nighttime, raining, and you're just like wired earphones in and you're just listening to some shit. Because it's like, I feel like the theme that's been very consistent, a word that has always came back to my mind when I was thinking about it, I want my shit to sound like ethereal. Okay. I want my shit to sound like very, very heavenly, almost like, I don't know, I call it subconscious music, but it's like, yeah, that's kind of it. I don't know if that made a lot of sense.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. So like, you said like outer space type of vibe. You know, Galatea sounds really like spacey. It's a very spacey name. So do you think like that had any influence? Like,
yes, bro. The name Galatea shaped basically everything. Not so much sonically, but like lyrically, because the way I do my lyrics, I very rarely write anything other than the chorus. Okay. Because like my process when making songs, it starts melody first, always. Melody first, then I make the beat, then the lyrics. I usually have a chorus in mind, and I work from there. Everything else is usually just like punched in or freestyle. And because I had that narrative of Galatea and like the themes of the album in mind, they really shaped how I like said my lyrics on like a subconscious level. Because this time, something that I feel like was different from pretty much every other project I made, this album had a lot more intention behind the things I was saying and what I was singing about. Because like before, I used to just like kind of mix songs and bunch them together. It's like, oh, this is a project. So yeah, the name and the narrative of Galatea, Pygmalion, all that really shaped what I said. Okay. Yeah,
I feel you. So you said you freestyle most of the shit. You just write the chorus. So like I'm thinking about like when I heard the first song Pygmalion, there's this one bar you were like, nigga, what's the problem? Come and show us what you're made of. Nigga, what was that, bro?
You know what's crazy? In that for that song, I was recording, blah blah. I was literally freestyling, and I said that line.
Okay.
Or something similar to it. It wasn't exactly that, but the image I kept thinking of was like, okay, so the album, I really talk about relationships, girls, stuff like that, and I was actually thinking of like when I get nervous, or when I used to get nervous. When I be interacting with a lot of people or with this person who I like romantically and stuff, And subconsciously, like or like in my mind, I just tell myself like, nigga, like what's the problem? Why are we tripping? Like go on, talk to her, like show her what you're made of, you know. And in this album also, another thing that I wanted to do with Galatea is I really wanted it to feel kind of like a start, because it's only after making this album that I feel like I'm finally starting to figure who I'm supposed to be as a musician. And with this album, part of my intention was like showing the people who are listening to like what I'm made of. This is like the early roots of what I have to offer. So I was kind of talking about myself, and also from the perspective of the people I love, like the girl or the audience, and they're telling me like, what's the problem, come and show us what you're made of.
Okay, so when you sent me the album at first, when I was listening to it, like I sat down on my living room, like it was like 4 p.m. Sat down in my living room, and I was really focused on it, so I could like develop the questions. But I wanted to ask you, like, what was your favorite one to make?
Easily, bro, Fall. I love that song. That shit was so fun because, you know, all the time in most of my songs, they're all very sentimental, they're all very wavy. Very rarely do you hear shit like hard drums and 808s, but that's a lot of the music I listen to, bro. And it's interesting because when I talk to people about that, like I've had people tell me like, bro, like I always see you listening to shit like, I don't know, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely. By the way, GOAT rapper, not gonna lie, top 3 of all time. But anyways, Destroy Lonely, and you make shit like this, like how? And I'm like, I don't know, it just kind of makes sense. But that song, I was like, okay, I want to incorporate production I like, but I also want it to feel like me. So it was a lot of fun to first make the beat, because the chords for that song, I had them laying around in my voice notes like from like last year, and I originally played it on like a classical guitar, but I didn't have the fully laid out idea for a beat. So I made Titan, which is kind of the first part of that song, and I knew that I wanted a beat switch. I wanted a second part, and I wanted like the little synth hits that go like dun 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 dun. Funny story about that synth hits, I'm gonna go back to talking about Fall, but those synth hits, my favorite Frank Ocean song, Provider, has this part where like similar synth hits play, so I took it from there and like I based the whole song around that. But I wanted guitar melodies, not originally not a guitar, but I wanted something to accompany those synth hits. And when I was making, like I made the synth hits, blah blah, I put some pads and I was like, guitar would go good over this. And then I remember like, oh shit, I had those chords laying around, let me put them over here, play it on the electric guitar, it sounds tight. I want it to feel kind of like I'm rapping, similar to the things that I listen to, like very much Jane Remover coded, very much Too Hollis coded, but like, or like Ken Carson or Alone or Cardi, but I don't sing about the same shit that Cardi be singing about. So my thought is like, okay, what if I take that type of vibe, but I'm singing about like my own things, which are still like sentimental and shit like that. So that was a whole lot of fun. Also hopping on hard 808s was super fun. And originally that song didn't even have 808s. I knew I wanted to include the 808s, like, not to include it, to include 808s, but I had the thought like, I might be doing a little too much, like, because I also had another song on the album, like Believe, that I put 808s in there. I was like, I don't know if I want to have 2 songs with 808s. And like I remember I sent this song out to Leo, a friend of mine, when like I finished making. I was like, bro, what do you think about this? And me, him, and that nigga Ruben, bro, we used to be in my room just making beats and music and stuff like that. And like me and Ruben would always used to say like, we should add some 808s. Like all the time should be like, we should add 808s. And Leo would be like, no bro, we don't want to add that. So when I sent him that song, the 808s were originally just like bass, like guitar bass notes. And then he said like, yo, this low key would go crazy like 808 with 808s. And I was like, for him to say that, there might be something here, I should listen to that. So I put 808s and it came out pretty good. It came out pretty good.
So like, speaking of Leo, I know y'all made a song together, and y'all made a couple songs together. In this album, since you were like experimenting it, why didn't you like feel like including that sound, or like incorporating his songs, the songs you guys made together, or like making a song that sounds like the songs y'all guys made together, or featuring him on the album?
Okay, the reason why I didn't do features is because kind of ties back to what I was saying with like, oh, let me show y'all what I'm made of.
Okay.
I wanted this album because it feels like a new beginning to me, to be all me.
Okay.
So I didn't include features. Now, why didn't I stylistically go with like the sound me and Leo were kind of hopping on? I feel like it was just the one song we have out. It's Misery.
Okay.
Right. It's called Misery. It's on my alt account, and it's too, I'm not gonna say heavy, but the melodies we use are very like metal-ish, and I just kind of feel like that wouldn't fit with like the rest of the album.
Okay, I understand. I understand where you're going with that. I understand. Shit. Okay. Making the album, short period of time, served as an inspiration. Like, what was like the sound inspiration? You know what I'm saying? You said like you really wanted to like make something like, you know, from the artist that you listen to, but like that's for one song though. What about the others?
Okay, so I'm gonna mention number one again, Jane Remover. She has this on her alt account, Ghost Holding. She made this album called, oh my, okay, I forgot the album name, bro, but it's the album that has that one song called like Play My Guitar, etc. All those, I kind of based my chords on that album a bit. Frank Ocean, obviously. Now lyrically, I actually feel like the artist who I'm closest to lyrically is Samba Jean Baptiste.
Okay.
Bro, he has this album called Cardinal. In my opinion, that's like one of the most underrated albums of all time. That shit is so good. I listen to it like almost every day. And he has this way of like, his lyrics, they sound kind of vague and like, I'm not gonna say poetic, but like metaphorical.
Okay.
But without it sounding like bullshit. Cause sometimes you'll be listening to songs and like you hear people sing or whatever, it's just like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? But his songs, they're kind of written in that way, but you can still kind of make out what he's trying to say. And I felt like at a subconscious level, I kind of base my lyrics on that. Now vibe wise, I took heavy inspiration from Zeros.
Okay.
Like especially I feel like Titan and See Through You were the songs that you can hear it the most. And I'll also quickly mention Montel Fish, because bro, especially in my earlier songs, bro, I feel like if you look for it, you can definitely hear the Montel in there, bro. Because I always found his music real cool, because it's like he made it in a way that felt like, how can I explain, like approachable. Like I listen to this nigga music and I feel like, oh, this sounds really good, and like I can do that too. Because when I heard someone like Frank Ocean or someone like Tyler, when I first started making music, bro, production wise, their songs had a lot more going on. And so it felt a bit more, not impossible, but difficult for me to kind of emulate that. But Montel, definitely. Montel, yeah.
So there was this one song specifically that I wanted to talk to you about, which is the last song on the album. And that moment, We Were All That Mattered. What was going through your head when you made that?
This song has a whole story behind it, bro. I'm gonna talk about the song first and then how the name came to be, because that's a more interesting story. But I was actually, like, I made literally every other song in the album, and I was like, yeah, this album needs a closer. That song that I mentioned previously, World, it was meant to be the closer. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have World in the end over there, like, as a closer. But since I couldn't like finish it and I was struggling with that, I was like, fuck it, I'll do something else. I think it was it was like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m., something like that. And I was like, okay, fuck it, let's do something else. Let's make a beat, I'll record it in the morning. And like, usually when I grab my guitar and I'm about to go make a beat, I already know what chords I want to make. But that time, I was starting from like scratch. There was no idea before hopping in. And so I was just playing with my tuning like I do for most of my songs. I was just like playing my tuning, whatever. And then I came up with the tuning I used on that song. I was like, and I played it back, and I was listening. My headphones were in and everything.
Okay.
Bro, it's cold as fuck. It's cold as fuck out here. But yeah, fuck, the camera died. But whatever. In that moment, where all that mattered. Yeah, when I was about to like literally post the album on like my distributor and everything, I played it back in full. And when it got to that song, bro, I thought back to this one moment with me and my girlfriend, and she's watching, yo. Hi. So we were at the beach, and we were just like in the beach standing or whatever, and she was like standing up and taking pictures of the sea and shit, and I was just like there, like, and then she was yapping about some shit. I was just hearing like blah blah blah, yeah, cool, and then I'm just looking at her, right? And in that exact moment, I just start crying, bro.
Because it was just you two.
Yes, bro. I was like, it hit, like, I had the thought, like, damn, I really love this girl.
Yeah.
Like, and in that exact moment, it felt like me and her were all that mattered.
Okay, makes sense.
So, that song, every time I play it back, it makes me think of that specific moment.
Okay.
So I just called it that.
It's really
like, it felt very fitting.
I fuck with that. You know, like they say that, like, you ever heard those like Midwest emo songs that like have those long ass titles? They say like there's like a rule for that. You know what I'm saying? They be having like titles like, oh, bro, I drove my dad's car.
Dude, there's this one album that has, it's like Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi. That's like Tenkaichi 4. That's the EP name. And there's also, bro, this is one of my favorite EPs of all time. We're kind of getting sidetracked, but whatever. Modern Baseball.
Okay.
The main singer, Brandon Lucas, he made this EP called Dude, the Love of Your Life Has Some Serious Issues.
Hey, bro.
And I just always love shit like that. I feel like it gave songs so much personality.
I feel you.
But yeah.
There's this one song, a quick one before the Great Snake.
The Great Snake, the Bars of Saul.
Yeah, Connecticut or some shit like that. It's a
Have a Nice Life. Have a nice life.
Yeah, I've like, that was the first song I heard with like a long ass title. Yeah. It seemed that like every song that I heard with a title that long, it was just like the saddest songs I hear in my life. And like with that song, with in that moment, we were all that mattered. Como eu tava escutar like the whole album, it was kind of like surprising to me. You're like, no lyrics, no drums, no whatsoever. It was just guitar and like this synth, and it was calm. It was as calm as I said. It was like I was listening to it like numa hora muito, like, you know, the sunset was hitting and shit. So when I was listening to it, when I heard that song, it was like, yo, what the fuck? Because me myself, I started thinking about shit. You know
exactly.
I started thinking about shit, and for me to develop like the questions on that song, it was like really, I was really focusing on that song specifically.
I like that the song feels kind of like, again, subconscious music. It's like, it's background music to your thoughts and very emotional thoughts. I feel like, and I feel like part of the reason why I'm thinking back to it now, I just had this thought now, why I kind of chose to just have my guitar, nothing else. Okay, so Nick Drake, I really like Nick Drake's music, and he has the song called Horn, and it's just him playing his guitar, nothing else, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time because it kind of feels like that. Granted, the chords he's playing are very different, and that shit sounds like super melancholic, gut-wrenching, but still, I feel like that might have been part of the reason. I kind of wanted something I made to feel like that, but again, with my elements all sweet, atmospheric. Yeah.
There was this one song, Break, that kind of reminded me of this nigga that Ruben put me on to. What was the name, bro?
Mark William Lewis.
Mark William Lewis. That nigga was peak.
I need to tap
in, bro. That nigga's amazing. But really, damn. But he has this one song called fuck, I'm trying to remember that shit.
Nah, take your time.
I think it was like Enough or some shit like that. Yeah, Enough. Yeah, it was Enough. When I heard your song, I was like, okay, cool. When I heard the song that Ruben put me on to, Enough, by that nigga Mark William Lewis, Lock been saved and break. Like that ass. When I first put on my headphones, that nigga started talking. I was like, yo, shit kind of reminded me of Malik's song. So like, when you put out your songs, do you like kind of feel like I fuck with the fact that like my songs remind other people of like artists that they fuck with. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Damn, that's actually a good question. I genuinely never thought about that.
Like overall album feedback, you know what I'm saying? How do you like deal with that?
That I always love hearing when people tell me like, oh, you sound like this artist. The way I kind of interpret it is like the next question I have for them is like, oh, why do you like that song, or why do you like that artist? Because I feel like when someone says like, oh, you sound like this, and I like it or I dislike it for that reason, they're talking about how that specific artist makes them feel. But in general, I always find it pretty cool, bro. Like, especially when I've had people tell me that I sound like some artists who I really like look up to. Like Montel Fish was probably the one I got the most. I'd get like, oh, you kind of sound like Montel a lot. Also Jades. Shout out Jades, man. He, especially in my earlier songs, bro, it was pretty much all him. I gotta say. But like I always find it very interesting to hear what people have to say about my songs, bro. And especially if they're articulate.
Okay.
Like if they have a lot to say. I always find it, because it's pretty much me getting a glimpse into how you think, how you see things, and like what catches your eye more. Because I remember the song Break, bro. I've had some people I talked to some people about it. They were like, oh, I really like the way you harmonize on that song. And then you have other people saying like, oh, I like the strings. And then I've had some people say that the favorite part is like the guitar, sorry, not their guitar. I always find it cool to see like what people like to pay attention to. I think it's real cool.
Cool.
So I appreciate it.
So like, you're like, from what I know, from what I've heard, Mozambique doesn't have really artists that make music like you. You know what I'm saying? So like, for the Mozambican population, you know, this is like un sound not so vulgar, you know. So like, for some people who are like old-fashioned, they listen to like more, let's say, Mozambican type of sound, because I wouldn't say your sound is more Mozambican influence, you know what I'm saying? So like, they listen to your sound and they're like not really hip, you know what I'm saying? They listen to it and they're like, this nigga's kind of mid, or I don't get the vibe with this, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Because you see people who like listen to like, you know, other type of artists that sound like you to actually understand the music you make. So if a person, you know what I'm saying, limits their music taste and then gives their opinion on the music you make, you know what I'm saying, how does that make you feel? Like, if like an old-fashioned nigga were like, oh, you kind of mid, no, would you like try to make songs that like sound like Moz influence?
You know, I've actually had like a pretty good amount of people, like usually a little bit older, tell me like, oh, you should try making like, or say like, oh, you should try making a song in Portuguese, or you should make a song that sounds more like, you know, what you expect people from here to sound like. And it's like, if they, I always took it like oh, as they just don't get it, but I always appreciated that, because like the way I see music and creativity in general, bro, every medium has something to be appreciated about. Like, even though I don't make music that sounds like the music from around here, I listen to some of it and I like some of it. So like, when I hear people say like, oh, I don't really fuck with it because I just interpret as like, oh, okay, they just don't get it, they just don't resonate with it, and that's okay. But I always find it very interesting when people, like, especially older people, bro, so like my family or family friends or whatever, and they say like, oh, I don't listen to music like this, but I like it. I like the way you sang, or I like the way you played, or they ask me questions like, oh, did you record a guitar, blah blah blah. I always find that shit super cool, bro, because it kind of encourages people to like get out of their box,
like the comfort zone.
Yeah, their comfort zone, because they actually have to like hyper focus on what they appreciate about the music they listen to. And I find that people don't really do that often. That's why like when someone calls music in general, just general music disco, not just mine, like, oh, this shit's made, or this shit's fire, same way, like two sides of the same coin. I always part of me gets a little frustrated when they just leave it at that, especially in a space where like we're having a discussion, because like, what the fuck does that even
you're gonna say like, that's fire, but you could have like done this.
Like, elaborate.
Yeah,
I appreciate, like, of course, when people say that's fire, they're saying something nice, so you'll appreciate it. But like, I think me, the way I see it, I'm much more interested in you being like, oh, I don't really like it because of X, Y, and Z. They say like, I like it, and leave it at that. Not saying that I don't appreciate the people like I love it. I'm very thankful for that. I really, 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 really do. But I'm saying like, tell me more, bro. Like, tell me what you like about this song. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you think I could have done different. Tell me if you wouldn't or would change something about it. Because that's what I'm trying to hear, bro. I'm trying to see where people are coming from, why they like what they like. Because I feel like you learn so much about people that way, and I like learning about people.
Okay, makes sense. But do you ever see yourself making more like songs in like Portuguese to like resonate with your country?
Yeah. Actually, okay, it's a bit of a spoiler alert, bro. I have this song that's like finished. I sampled Stuart Sukuma.
Okay.
Because I went ahead and listened to his like a couple of his albums after going to a show in here, and it's crazy because like I've loved music. I've cared about music pretty much since I learned how to speak, but like I never actually went to shows here because I feel like at like a subconscious level part of me is just like, oh, it's just Maputo, it's just Mozambique, like whatever, I don't listen to this type of music. But I went and like I appreciated it, and this one artist, he was covering one of his songs, and I really love seeing that performance. I was like, yo, what song is this? And I tapped in and I was like, yo, this nigga Loki got some heat, bro. Like, I
see like put a hint of Portuguese in one of your songs.
Yes,
in Misery.
I did. In Misery, that was like, and you know what's crazy? I just felt like singing in Portuguese because I don't know, it just felt right, and I thought, oh, it would make the song more interesting if I sang in Portuguese. And I think in one of my other songs, dude, I think it was Anxiety. Damn, that was so long ago. That song sounds like shit for everybody, bro. Don't go listen to it. But the second part, I also sang in Portuguese because I don't know, I felt like it. But I feel like a big reason why I kind of shied away from that for most of my journey making music is just like I wasn't at a level where I was confident with my ability. So a lot of what I was doing was very much based on reference, and I didn't really listen to a lot of reference from here. So it was hard for me to kind of,
I'm gonna stick to that topic, to like living in Maputo. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like people here are very judgmental. You know what I'm saying? They're very judgmental. So like, for them to hear your shit, I feel like they really talked a lot.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? Since you started making music, até agora, I feel like you've heard like some really bad critics.
You know what's crazy, bro? When it comes to people around here, I have actually been surprised at how little I've gotten in terms of straight negativity. I've had a lot of people say like, oh, I just don't get it, or like, oh, it's not for me. I've had that before, but it was weird because I really see a couple of people who I would never imagine fucking with my type of sound saying like, oh, I like this and that about it. Here, and I was like so shocked. I was like, oh, damn, like I didn't know there were people in here who would get it. Besides like my friends, like you guys here, like, because I know the type of music you listen to, right? And a lot of it is things that aren't from Maputo, right? So I knew there was a higher chance for those kinds of people to get it. But it was super interesting, bro. There's one time I went to the skate park recently, like very recently, I think last week, and I played it, and in there, bro, they're pretty much people from here, bro. Like, they do not listen to that type of shit at all, bro. Some of them don't even know. I'd be like, oh yeah, bro, Radiohead. They'd be like, nigga, what? Like, what are you talking about? But they said they fucked with it, and I was like, damn. Like, at the end of the day, music is just music, you know? I feel like I've always been kind of shy at embracing the fact that like I'm here. And I've always been kind of secretive with the people around me about my music because I always had that thought like, oh, they won't get it.
Yeah, they won't get it. Or
they won't get it
like that. I feel you on that.
But also like now, I'm just starting to like understand like, bro, you should low-key just let people tell you what they think, bro. Because I feel like there's always something to be gained from that.
Yeah, there is. I feel like that also goes for me. You know, when I started taking pictures, it wasn't something that I actually like, you know, put it out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, I'm a photographer, I started taking this and that, look at this shit, look at that, you know what I'm saying? I kept it hidden to the point when I started like posting my pictures, it wasn't something that I post till like recently. Like right now, if y'all remember, I posted like a picture that I edited like a month ago or some shit like that.
That picture was so fucking
Thanks,
cool, bro.
by the way.
That shit was good.
But that was the first time I posted like ever since I started taking pictures, and I started taking pictures like 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I've always had like an account. People know I take pictures, but it's not something that I've been open about. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for you to like be open with your art, it really takes courage. You know?
Yeah, bro. It was like the way I saw it, especially when I first started. It was like, bro, I don't even. The people who follow me, I've always had like a very small account, right? I don't even have that many followers on Insta or whatever.
Okay.
I was always like, bro, a lot of the people who follow me, bro, they don't even know me like that. And the ones who do, they know like what I be doing, right? So I could just be like another nigga on their timeline, or a nigga who they end up fucking with. And like actually listening to my stuff, or it could just be someone who they don't like and they unfollow. But it's like I never, because I always, music is all I care about, like most of the time. It's how I interpret a lot of my identity in the world.
Okay.
And that thing I was saying when I was talking about music, like, oh, I feel like people here don't get it. That kind of translates to a lot of me. I always felt like kind of alienated to like my peers and shit like that. And there are exceptions. There are definitely exceptions. But in general, that's always how I felt. So I never went out of my way to address the fact that people around here could be watching.
Okay.
Like, to me, it's just like, whatever, the internet. It's a whole world out there. I'm not gonna focus on who's looking at me, because first of all, at the moment, not a lot of people are. And if it gets to a point where it does, I felt like it most likely won't be people from here, because that's not what my sound tends to appeal to. So it never even felt that scary to put it out there, but it felt a little scary to like talk about it, because I remember I like, my mom would listen to my songs and she'd be like, oh, this is cool, let me post it on my WhatsApp status, on my story. I'd be like, Mom, don't do that shit, bro. Like, please, like, do not do that, because it was kind of like, yeah, bro, I can't have niggas thinking like this when I'm on. Like, niggas out here will think I'm weird, because it's like, we have this dude out here, fucking goth in his name. Most people here, bro, I bet they don't even know what that is, unless you're like younger or a bit more tapped in with like outer culture and shit like that. And you'd have my song sounding all weird and shit. The production is all weird, and I was like, nah, I can't have my grandma listening to this, bro. I can't have my teacher listening to this, bro. Hell nah.
I see.
But I got over it.
Throughout the process, I feel like you've also been surrounded by like critics and supportive people. You know what I'm saying? So like your friends, family, you know what I'm saying? They've been supportive through this whole like music making journey. You know what I'm saying? So like, have you ever had like a crazy ass thing like someone said about?
Oh, I have stories, bro. And it's especially getting a little weirder. It's getting weird now, because like, okay, not to sound like ostentatious or whatever, but like, I'm growing in terms of like families and numbers and shit. Bro, I be seeing people call me shit like Dada, Papa, Daddy, or like, and I don't use TikTok like that. Like, it's like, I hop in there, I put a couple of videos on my drafts, I check my notifications on there, and I like check my messages and maybe scroll for a bit, and then I delete it and I repeat the process all over again. And I've had some very crazy comments, like, bro, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna talk about a couple of interactions I had that like really stuck out to me. There's this guy or girl, I don't actually know their gender, whatever. There's this person I first saw them on IG. Their account name is like Malik Lover. Oh. Like it sounded like a fan page, like, oh, Malik Lover. I was like, bro, no fucking way. Like, no fucking way someone is out there making like
fan page,
like naming their account after me. And then I saw their cover, like they're not their cover, their profile picture was like my first song cover. And I reached out to bro, I'm like, yo, if you do listen to them, I'd be like, thank you so much, I really appreciate it, like I'm glad you're listening. And they reply like, yo, I love your music, I love your shit so much. And it's like, bro, your music is great. And on TikTok.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, so we probably don't have to use that audio from your camera, bro. But
So,
yeah,
I was saying that I think I'd like put myself in the group of the people whose your music kind of helped them through like a rough patch. You know, I was in a hard relationship. You know that I was like going through some shit last year with my girl, and you dropped Soulless. That shit that shit helped me, gang. Nah, that shit was heaven to me. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I find some type of closure when I hear that song. You know what I'm saying? It kind of like calms me. Now I'll put it like, I have this playlist that I listen to when I'm just like that I was trying to take a nap. Songs like, you know, niggas like Lamp, Zeros, all those niggas peak. And you made that playlist. 2 of your songs, Moon and Soulless, they made it to that playlist. So I feel like I put myself in that group, you know, people who like were influenced by your music. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that really helped me a lot, man. That really did help me a lot. So I feel like, yeah, bro. You ever see yourself making like another song, like Soulless or Moon?
okay, like Solace, I kind of feel like Break It Off was my attempt at like a Soulless part 2, kind of subconsciously, because it's kind of the same idea-ish. But like Moon, bro, and I've been actually getting a lot of requests for more music in that style, kind of like Moon, and kind of like my number 1 song, like I Want to Kill Myself on the Low, ain't gonna lie. My answer is always, dude, I might, but I'm not going to right now because I don't feel like I want to, and I don't want to make a song that I'm just like making because I feel like I have to. Okay. Kind of, because it won't be genuine, bro. In the moments where I made those songs, those were genuinely what I was thinking, genuinely what I was feeling. And if I made it now, bro, it would sound like bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And I kind of feel, bro. Okay, I know you didn't ask about the song, but I Want to Kill Myself on the Low, ain't gonna lie. My one feature on my page, literally one feature, with I Want to Be Mesmerizing to You. I kind of felt like that was my attempt at like a part 2, right? And especially because those songs, bro, like Moon, the high pass thing, Stolen from Jades, I'm not gonna lie, bro, straight up, I kind of used it as an excuse to to mask what I perceived to be my lack of ability, because at the time I couldn't mix for shit. I couldn't mix for shit. I had a shitty mic, and like I didn't want to, like I couldn't EQ the mic into sounding good. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna put a filter on here and just sing. Okay. Because now when people say like, yo, why does your voice kind of sounds like shit? And be like, oh yeah, bro, it's intentional. that was the and it was the vision. Like that was the vision. I knew my voice was gonna sound like that, but I feel like I was kind of using it as like a cop out. Okay. You know, and that's why like I don't see myself making that type of music for now, because I don't feel the need to cop out anymore. And I also have a hard time thinking of how I could innovate with that type of sound. But if I feel like it, bro, because who knows how I feel like what I'll feel like making today or tomorrow, I absolutely will. Like I have no qualms with it. It's just like at the moment, when it comes to Moon specifically, Solace, I feel like I kind of took that palette and evolved on it. Okay. So yeah,
I wanted to mention that evolution, you as an artist and your music, you know. I feel like, you know, I Want to Kill Myself on the Low, not gonna lie, and Soulless, they're like a big time gap, but there's also like what fills the time gap is evolution. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you as an artist, you kind of like took the time to evolve and perfect your craft. And like now that I'm thinking about it, you're starting to post like tutorials like about your songs and like breaking down the songs. So I feel like for you to do that, some people ask for it. You know what I'm saying? So like, how did that go? How did that make you feel?
Well, I would get it started with like guitar tabs. Like I'd get a lot of DMs or like comments. And people would be like, yo Malik, can you post like tabs to this song? Can you post like chords? And I'd always be like, my guy, I really, really wish I could. but I don't even know what the fuck this tuning is. Like, I just grabbed the guitar, started twisting knobs, because I even explained this on like my most recent YouTube video. But like, a lot of my process with making music is just intuitive. If you ask me how to play a C major 7 chord, I won't be able to play it on my guitar, but I've probably used it in my songs at some point, you know. So I had a very hard time just telling people these are the chords, this is the strumming, not strumming pattern, this is the tuning, because I don't know either. I'm just kind of making these things. Okay. But I've also always liked teaching people stuff, and I remember, again, I mentioned her a lot, but like, bro, I will glaze her until no avail. Jane Remover, she had this live stream where she broke down her album Frailty, and like the production behind it all. That's kind of what inspired me to start making those types of videos. Because dude, I feel like that video, if you make music or if you want to be a producer, even if you don't want to like record or sing, you should watch that video. It's a must watch. You get so much, like she gave away so much sauce, bro, so much insight into the process. And I was like, okay, I've learned a few things. And like pretty much ever since I started making music, I was like, yo, at some point I want to teach people how to make music, or because there'll be more cool music for me to listen to, like better artists, more cool music for me to listen to. Cool. But I feel like I didn't have the portfolio or the skills to be out here to teach people, and I still feel like I kind of don't, but I'm trying to like get over myself and be like, nigga, whatever, just post the videos, right? So yeah, it was pretty much just that. Like, people kept asking for things, and like because now I'm working with producers a bit more, bro. Speaking of side tangent, bro, if you listen to underground music, bro, Gozan, he's this producer that works with Laserdem a lot. He DM'd me the other day, bro, being like, yo, we're trying to work. And I was like, that's when I started thinking like, yo, I might know some things. Like, maybe there's something here. Because this producer I'm actually actively bumping a lot reached out to me to work. I'm like, yo, maybe I can teach people.
Exactly.
So it was kind of just that. Just breaking out of that shell and just like teaching people. And I plan to delve into that shit even deeper, bro. Like, I just made a song breakdown. I want to make like fucking 4 hours of footage, me literally being like, yo, here's literally everything I know about making music. Here it is, and you just watch it if you want and call it a day. It's just an era, it's an arc I'm going through. I don't know how long it's gonna last, because like, I don't know, I'll have to learn more things until I can talk about more things. But for now, you know, it's fun. It's fine. It's nice.
Ruben had some questions.
Come here, bro. Man. Come here.
So like,
you can take my seat, bro. You can take my seat.
For sure.
Lovely. This nigga's beautiful, bro.
What the fuck?
He's gonna add great footage. Okay.
So what's up, Malik? What's up, Cam? What's up, Cam? Okay.
Up, bro?
So, like, would you subject of your like music just in general? Would it be more like love, about love? You talk about love, or you talk about women?
Damn, that's a great question. Fuck. Oh, I have to think about that. I'd say overall it is about love, but like almost every time I write, it's in context to a woman in my life. So I kind of say it's both. Because like I very rarely sing. I very rarely sing about just like love by itself, like in isolation. I never really do that. It's always in context to like my experience with another, like with this girl,
like the verb of like loving.
So damn, that's a great question. But I'd say it's a mix, but probably closer to like individual people. That's probably closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was like an opener to this question. So, like right now you're in a relationship, right? But of course you don't just write about this relationship. And I think that's like something very like hard for many people to do, to be in a relationship and still acknowledge the other things like that happened to them, their other experiences. They're like, oh no, my partner's with me right now, I want to be respectful, or like they won't really trust me about that. So like, how do you like work that?
Oh,
and how does it come to you?
Another great. What? Let me think about that. It's like, okay, first of all, big credit to like the relationship in itself, because thankfully I'm with someone who gives me the space to like be able to talk about these things, or like my past or whatever, openly. But actually, at times, there have been times where I felt like, man, I feel kind of guilty, bro. Like I have all of these songs about this one girl. I made like 4 songs based on her, and like my current girlfriend, I made like 1 or 2. Like, what's up with that? I feel like I just kind of, what eases my mind into it is just like, first of all, knowing that like she doesn't judge me for that, and like also that these experiences were that I'm singing about, like my past, were very formative in like my perspective in a lot of what I sing about. So I kind of can't not think about them, especially because it's like I've learned all of these things and they're applying themselves in this relationship currently, but like there is still, since the relationship is like fairly recent and also the most consistent one I've had, because like I'm not gonna lie, bro, before my current relationship, first of all, I've only dated like one other person before this. Every other thing I've had, it was never a relationship, even though I feel like I've always wanted a relationship. It was always very unstable, very triggering or whatever. Because of that, because of the fact that in my past shit was always more triggering, I felt like it was always more intense and like more dramatic by consequence. So it gave me more to think about. And my current relationship is just like, oh, things are good and I'm happy. That's it. Like, and I'm like, there's not, how would I even write about that beyond what I've done? Like, So, of course. I kind of balance it like, oh, maybe the fact that I don't have a million songs about you is a good thing. Like, because I usually, well, my songs aren't negative exactly, but I will say most of them have a hint of like sadness, like they're a little maudlin. So I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a good thing I'm not out here writing sad songs about my girlfriend, maybe. But I'm still not at the point where like I've learned to write about positive things yet, and that's something I've actually received before. Like my mom would ask me like, bro, why don't you try making a happy song? I remember my dad, we were coming back to the gym, he said like, bro, I was listening to your songs, he said it just like this, I'm not paraphrasing, he was like, nigga, ain't you ever happy, bro? Like, you're always crying. I'm like, I don't know, like, cause like what do people even say when they're happy? Like, today was a good day, I had some eggs and some matcha, yay.
Oh
like,
my god,
like great. Like I have a hard time writing about,
you don't see character
yeah,
from that.
Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question actually, but that is
in some
the
way
answer.
yeah. So like leading into like another thing, I personally noticed that and I think you would agree with me, most of the art, doesn't even have to be music, most of the art comes from pain and suffering. And although that's like sad to see, like that is a big thing, pain and suffering, heartbreak, losing somebody, mourning, a lot of beautiful things come from that. So yeah, would you like agree with that in your music? Like that's
yes, absolutely, bro. Yes, I would, and I'd actually say, because I've thought about this too, when kind of touching on what I was saying before, like, oh, why is my shit always sad? I feel like the reason why most art comes from that is because we people, humans, I think we have a tendency to take the things that are good in our life for granted. So it's very unnatural, or at least it is for me, and I believe that most people would feel this way too, for you to reflect on growth and character, on things that are good. It takes like active effort and intention. But when you're struggling, bro, like when you're fucked up, like that shit forces you to think about it because you're fucked up. That is not how you want to be now. So you kind of have to think, okay, how can I get out of this headspace? And for you to think of how to get to this headspace, you have to acknowledge that like these thoughts are there and these things happen. When you're happy, you don't really need to do that. You're happy. You're good. So even though you might get a lot of character, a lot of growth through positivity, you're not really motivated to think about it as much. So I think like that's why most art comes from pain, and especially because like personally I feel like pain, suffering, those things really, those are the most formative moments in like building your character. And to build your character, again, it takes a lot of introspection and figuring yourself out, because you'll be like, oh, I'm not good right now. How can I avoid not feeling this way? And how do I want to feel? It kind of like puts you in a position where you start figuring things out more, because you have to think about things and like acknowledge things. So yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. Last question. You say you like make songs about people more than the feeling of love. You ever think like when you're writing a song, right? You're thinking about a person, you're writing it for the person, you want somebody to listen to it. Is that a way of communication?
Yes, 100%, yes. Right. Yeah, bro, 100%, yes, I'd have to say so, because it's like, oh, and even a lot of times what happens, I kind of feel there are times where I've written songs about people, and a lot of times I'm singing either from their perspective to me, or from an outside perspective, like psychoanalyzing the both of us.
Like a third person.
Yes, I very rarely write from like me. And if I do, I usually write just about what I was feeling, not what I was thinking, right? So the songs are kind of like, I've written songs and I made songs, bro. I'll talk about, there have been times where it wasn't as emotionally charged. It was just simple, like for example, Moon. Okay, that song, I was talking to we're friends, right? But I was talking to this girl named Luna, right?
From Portugal?
Yeah, and Luna means moon, right? And like, we were talking a lot at that time, and I was like, oh, I wish I could see you like soon sometime, because I think she was about to either come here or I was about to go like to Europe or whatever. So the lyrics are just like, oh, I hope I can see you soon, maybe we could watch the moon. Yeah, her name, cool. Yeah, simple. And there have been other times where you take something like never felt this way before, bro, where it's like full on just me, my feelings and thoughts to someone. I actually, but not, sorry, no, to someone specific. And I've even told them like, yo, this song is about you. Like I made this like kind of to you. And there have been situations where I made songs. You take Break, for example, past relationship, not this one. I don't talk, obviously I don't talk to my ex anymore, but like I kind of use these songs as like a way to talk about unresolved things that like I realized they made peace with it, but I never talked to them about it. Like, so you'll hear me saying shit like, oh, I was thinking in this way, but like I'm grateful for like new thoughts that I had when I think back to when I was in that headspace, that I wish I could tell them now, but I can't. So I just work them through my music. So it is kind of a way of like, this is to you, it's what I wanted to say to you. It's just like you might listen to it, you might not, and you might not even think it's about you, but yeah. Yeah, that's good questions, bro. Good questions.
Appreciate you, but no, it's something that like I
appreciate you. Yeah.
Alright, what's up with the
That's
interview?
a good thing, because y'all had like 30 seconds left on the thingy.
That's crazy.
On the timer.
Yeah, oh, that's great, bro. That's like great, like
But
telecommunications.
on the other hand, your laptop's about to die, man.
Shit.
Yeah.
Not gonna
You got
lie,
any more questions?
I'm like cold as hell.
Yeah.
Somebody
You
get in
good?
this chair, man. Oh my god.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, I can start a new.
But we can
recording.
restart.
No, this one.